Were you infected by COVID-19 and haven't quite recovered? Worried that you might have ME/CFS? Well, you've come to the right place. You're with Gusto. I'm an ME/CFS advocate who came down with this condition in 2008 following a really bad flu. Immediately after my initial recovery from that flu, a troubling constellation of symptoms appeared, including post-exertional malaise, general fatigue, headaches, sore throat, and poor sleep. These are all hallmark symptoms of ME/CFS, particularly post-exertional malaise, feeling extra tired after doing activity such as exercise. We don't know enough about COVID-19 yet, but if you are experiencing those key symptoms, you may have post-viral fatigue syndrome. It's kind of a precursor to ME/CFS, which you usually need to have for at least 6 months to be officially diagnosed. In view of that, I'd like to prevent you from getting ME/CFS by providing some advice that I wish I had known when I'd first gotten sick and hadn't recovered, that will give you the best shot of not developing ME/CFS if it's possible. Of course, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
So all this advice is just general, and you really need to consult your medical professional who will have personalized advice, and they can run all the tests to eliminate all the other conditions that it could possibly be that aren't ME/CFS and aren't even related to COVID, such as diabetes.
I'm Wilfred Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
Although I will say, having studied as much available information as I can on ME/CFS, I definitely know more than the average doctor about the condition. So be prepared to encounter some ignorance when talking to medical specialists on this, because they might not know very well how to A, diagnose it, or B, to treat it. So up front, let me give you the 6 pieces of advice that I'd wished I had known before my condition developed into full-blown ME/CFS as the headlines, and then I'll elaborate further. Number 1, slow down, stop trying to push through the illness. Number 2, learn to pace yourself. Number 3, become an expert on your own body. Number 4, be prepared to battle against strong skepticism. Number 5, be very wary of graded exercise therapy as a cure for ME/CFS. And number 6, there are some positive developments on the horizon. My first piece of advice is to slow down and stop trying to push as hard as you can through this illness. If this is ME/CFS, your best chance of recovery is to slow down. Let your body naturally recover. Don't push yourself to do a full day of hard work or get right back to your strenuous exercise routine. This might well damage your long-term prospects of recovery. Patience is the key here. Be cognizant that you can only expect a fraction of the output of your former pre-COVID self, and rest as often as you can. That brings me to my second point. Learn to pace yourself. There's 2 concepts at play here: macro pacing and micro pacing. Macro pacing is how you plan your days and weeks. For example, I needed to rest yesterday because I knew that I was going to be recording this video today. Micro pacing is focused on the individual tasks that you need to complete throughout the day and breaking them up as much as possible to incorporate rest breaks. So, for example, if you were doing the cooking, you might say, prepare, chop the ingredients, get your pots and pans out, then take a 15-minute rest. Finish the cooking, wash up, and then rest for 15 minutes again. 3, become an expert on your own body. When you approach a medical specialist, you should have a clear understanding of your own symptoms. I'd suggest keeping a diary of your symptoms and even building a timeline of your illness, documenting how it changes over time. Number 4 is the one thing I really didn't expect when I first got sick is that I'd have to battle skepticism from those close to me. Because there isn't yet a concrete understanding of COVID-19 or ME/CFS, there is a lot of misinformation floating about. Just think, how much did you know about ME/CFS before this year? And if you hadn't started to experience symptoms yourself, would you have been able to know if it was genuine? The current understanding of ME/CFS is a lot like where mental illnesses were 50 years ago, when the advice was just straighten up, stop being so blue, you'll be all right. We know now that these are complicated systems within the body. So arm yourself with as much information as possible and be prepared to gently guide family and friends through the symptoms you're experiencing. For more information, you can check out the ME Chile Challenge videos on my channel, which provide a thorough history of ME CFS. There's 10 videos, they're about 10 to 20 minutes each, and you can easily skip through the chili eating bits at the end because some of those actually got pretty painful and I wouldn't want to watch them again myself. 5. Be extremely skeptical of graded exercise therapy as a potential cure. That advice was based on severely flawed science, which has actually been known to make a lot of patients worse long term, not better. And lastly, on a positive note, scientists are working really hard every day to understand this condition and find a treatment. Unfortunately, the funding isn't where we'd like it to be and it needs to be a lot higher. So if you are interested in accelerating a path to a treatment, I'd highly recommend getting involved in the advocacy community on social media such as Facebook, because the more people we have screaming for a treatment, the more likely we are to get proper funding to generate that. And on a personal note, I'm really sorry that you're going through all these difficulties as long haulers. Us in the sufferer community really know how bad it can be and how difficult it feels just being able to achieve so little and wanting to achieve so much more. So thanks for watching. If you do have any questions or you want to see more videos on the topic, please feel free to let me know in the comments, and you can also hit me up on my other socials @WithGustoTV. Peace.